Hello, and welcome to coverage of the Cycorp Swiss Open for the custom standard format. I'm Caillou, and today we're going to be watching the round 1 match between Fazzer on green-white Bogles and Sol Invictus on Crest Ramp. So both of these decks are kind of the boogeyman or things to respect in the format. I think Crest Ramp has been like a lot more prevalent since it's been heavily played for like the past season and a half. Fazzer just started playing green-white Bogles again. It's been kind of going like low on the radar, but it's still like a strong force to be respected because if you don't have answers to Bogles in your 75, you can just like sandbag that entire matchup, which is not where you want to be. So Fazzer's deck plays like a standard Bogles deck. All of its hexproof threats are on 3 though, so there is like a window between when Fazzer can like play a threat and then like suit up and kill you. Notably, Fazzer also has 4 mainboard removal spells, which is weird, which is another weird thing for Boggles deck. It does come into play versus Sol Invictus here, who's on Crest Ramp. So Crest Ramp is essentially a ramp deck which aims to get out strong high-end threats quickly, either by just ramping into them naturally or using Crest the Waters, which is a 3-mana enchantment that on its base is a fervor, but then can turn into something that allows you to cheat out creatures from your hand. So Sol is going to be looking for Anku here. Anku is a 3 and a Jund creature, which essentially, whenever it attacks, your opponent sacrifices a creature, enchantment, land, and artifact. Of course, the important thing here being creature, because that gets around the hexproof of Boggles. So it's going to be a race between can Sol find an Anku and then go off by killing Fazzer's Boggle, or will Fazzer suit up his Boggle and then have Wander the Unknown, and thus be able to outrace Sol? Let's see. So getting into these opening hands, Sol has a 5-lander with Farseek and Sylvan Ritualist, no threats. I guess keeps it because just hoping to draw into a threat. Also wait, never mind, has Jabaya. Jabaya makes his hand a lot better because turn 2 Farseek into turn 3 Jabaya is an incredibly powerful line. It puts on immediate pressure and essentially says, hey, if you don't have something to answer this, you die. Unfortunately, Fazzer has 2 Boggles, a Sunstrider skill, which is not the best aura to have, but then giving First Strike means that it can't just be like chump blocked by something, like let's say Jabaya. Also has a Wander the Unknown to be able to kill Jabaya. So I think Fazzer is in a pretty good position. I think, though I do think that like Fazzer will just play Forest Grave Guardian here, and then next turn plays Sunstrider skill, and then is just going to try and start suiting up the Boggle and attacking with that, because you want to save Wander the Unknown for an Anku, unless you draw a second copy, is how I think I feel about it. So Sol played a Farseek, is going for the Farseek into Jabaya line. Fazzer top decks a Moonweaver, but yeah, it's just going to play a Boggle. No reason not to. And man, yeah, Sol just top deck a land into another mana dork. You really want to be seeing some threats here, or like something to give you card flow. Like an Auspicial Sphinx would be amazing. So yeah, Sol is getting, I think, another blue mana in case of top decking Auspicial Sphinx. So now I think the question is, if you're Fazzer, do you let this Jabaya stay on the board because you're worried about an Anku? Or do you just snap kill the Jabaya because you don't want to have to deal with that potentially fast clock? And Fazzer tapping for Moonweaver, that's interesting. I really thought that if anything, Fazzer would tap for Sunstrider skill, but I guess he's going to Moonweaver into Sunstrider skill so that he can draw a card off of the Moonweaver and hopefully draw into another Wander the Unknown. So Sol now gets to flip Jabaya because he controls 5 or more lands with different names. And hits another mana dork. I guess they clog up the board, but It's just not good. It's just not good enough to get there. It really wants to be hitting threats with this much mana. Jabaya itself is like a fast clock because it animates a land you control and turns it into essentially what is going to be a 6/6 now. So I guess because Soul has nothing else to do, Soul is going to be tapping out. Yeah, Humble Shepherd plus Sylvan Ritualist, because that gives you +1 mana more than you would have gotten off of just Sylvan Ritualist. Because Sylvan Ritualist gives all of your creatures add 1 mana of any color, and Humble Shepherd creates a sheep token. But yeah, start of combat, going to Jabaya, animate the vacated bar, swing in for 6. Fazzer's just going to take this. Moonweaver is too valuable to chump with. Though I could see Fazzer just playing Forestgrave Guardian and like chumping with that. The land does have trample, so maybe not the best idea. Fazzer hitting more Bogles. I think that's not where you want to be. I think if you're Fazzer, do you play a land and then focus Wasteland Auklet to draw into something, or do you just Wander the Unknown Jabaya? I think you Wander the Unknown to Jabaya, just straight up. Or play Forestgrave and then Wander the Unknown Jabaya. Swings out with Forestgrave Guardian and Moonweaver. Yeah, I don't get this because Soul just blocks with Jabaya. Yeah, okay. In response, gonna Wander the Unknown to Jabaya because otherwise, because Jabaya has indestructible, it wouldn't die to the first strike damage, and then on the regular strike damage would just kill the Forestgrave Guardian. So yeah. Ooh, top taking a Heart of the Gods. It's really what you want to be seeing here. Well, actually, you want to be seeing an Anku, but Heart of the Gods doesn't hurt either. You can just pay 6, tap out for it. Then can you achieve Paradise this turn? I don't think so because I think Soul will be 1 mana off. But next turn can give it Paradise to give it Vigilance, Hexproof, and Reach is also important because that means it can block Moonweaver. But yeah, the Vigilance part is the most important. Does have? Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, actually does have enough to go to Paradise. So just immediately plays Heart of the Gods, discovers Paradise, and now it has that plethora of keywords you can see over there to the right. Swings out for 8. Fazzer is just forced to take it, and Fazzer just concedes. Wow. Yeah, I think that's usually this matchup. I think is pretty hellish for Crest, without an Anku, but Soul just hit a string of like high impact fast threats, and Fazzer just hit none of the auras that he needed, just hitting multiple copies of Bogles. I guess that is a risk when you're playing like what is a quote unquote A+B combo deck. Anyways, let's go take a look at sideboards and see what each player is going to be bringing in. So for Fazzer, Pithing Needle does not hit Crest. It used to be able to hit Paradise because there's an activated ability, but it doesn't do that anymore. Let's see. Overgrowth Instigator, I don't think that you want higher Boggle density. Same for like Enforce Ranger. I'm not sure about either of these. Like, I honestly don't know why. Like, I guess like more threats in the side is for removal heavy matchups. Don't know that they exist, but then the Bark Skin, not a fan of. I think Sonic Screen could come in to kill an early Crest because early Crest into hasty Anku is how you lose a lot of games. Taken for Questioning to remove threats could also come in, but I think that like if you're at the point where you need a Taken for Questioning something, you're probably already losing. But might Taken for Questioning over Sonic Scream to get like something that can answer both Crest and a threat late game. But I'm not sure that like I think Fazzer just like drew unluckily and probably just wants to have something that can kill Soul as fast as possible by just comboing off. Does have in the main how many Zulav? 4 Zulav rights. So Taken for Questioning as like a 1 or 2 off of the Zulav rights seems like a fair plan. So I think probably some number of Taken for Questioning and unlikely, but could bring in the Sonic Scream for a tempo. Because Taken for Questioning, you have to tap out for. Sonic Scream, because it's only 1 mana, it's like more tempo efficient. So, meanwhile, on Soul's end, Throat Cutter for sure. Throat Cutter is basically just a nut in this matchup. It's exactly what you want to have. Wander is useless. Sack Bull, I think, is for more like fair matchups. Um, like I'd say that's for like redistricting combo. Um, Obstinate Baylor, I don't. Heart of the Gods, I guess, blocks. Darkbreaker Angel also blocks. It has first strike. Um, I don't know. Like I think two Throat Cutter for sure. Maybe two Darkbreaker Angel. Maybe the Heart of the Gods. But I think yeah, that's my predictions for sideboarding. Let's go in and see how game 2 looks like. So Fazzer has a hand with 2 lands, doesn't have a Boggle itself, but has a Moonweaver into like a bunch of enchantments. So I think like going double Moonweaver into just dump a bunch of enchantments, cantrip a bunch, is totally a fair plan. Meanwhile, interestingly, Soul did bring in the Sack Bowl. I guess to exile ancestral markings, it still seems weird, or like as an early blocker. I'm surprised though. I'm surprised by the Sack Bowl. It is keeping this hand because Throat Cutter plus Anku is backbreaking for Bogles. So I think this is likely to go pretty south for Fazzer. It does have a Zul of Rights, so has access to like a toolbox of his entire deck's worth of enchantments, which definitely can be strong. Ooh, and there's a sideboard Sonic Scream, did bring it in, but is just going to Ancestral Marking onto Moonweaver. I think, I think going for another Moonweaver there actually would have made a lot of sense because yeah, you're only dealing 1 more damage with this Ancestral Marking, and Moonweaver would have let you start like cantripping like crazy. Like you play Guinevere's Benediction into Guinevere's Benediction next turn, you draw 4 cards. That has to feel really nice, especially because Soul is not going to have like a fast play there. Yeah, see, like Soul is just tapping for redistricting, bringing back a fetch land, going to be using that as ramp. Next turn does have access to Throat Cutter. But if Fazzer plays like another Moonweaver, that also mitigates the risk of being Throat Cuttered. And yep, grabbing 2 Tropical Channels, having that double green and double blue, already has double black in hand from the Hidden Harbor plus Vacated Bar. There's a Boggle, so I think Fazzer is faced with another interesting decision here, which is, do I tap out for the Boggle here? No, is going to be tapping out for the second Moonweaver, and then Guinevere's Benediction onto Moonweaver, draw 2 cards. I guess just thinking that like the card flow is more important. Because so anyways, Fazzer is going to swing out for 6 here. Put Soul down to 11 life. Soul untaps next turn and plays Throat Cutter, but Throat Cutter will just take out this Moonweaver, and then Fazzer swings out for another 6+. I mean, how much Guinevere's Benediction makes this Moonweaver lethal? So in fact, Soul has no outs here. Yeah, wow. If Soul had like a Titanic Crusher here, that would do it, but Soul doesn't. Oh, and his tapping 2 for redistricting is not even going for Throat Cutter. Why, Soul? You know you're going to take a minimum of 8 here. I guess, yeah, I don't think there's any reason to go redistricting here because you would have Anku mana next turn anyways. I guess, okay, actually, wait. Oh, is redistricting going to bring the fetch back, play Hidden Harbor from hand, and still have enough mana to Throat Cutter? Okay. Okay, so still can play Throat Cutter there, which is the right call. Is just going to lose here, though. Because, okay, Zulav writes for another Benediction, has Benediction from hand, Moonweaver gets huge as all hell. Soul has no way to kill this. And yeah, and that's game. That was an incredibly... And I was looking at Soul's hand, I'm thinking, like, this is insane. But, yeah, so, like, sometimes Boggles just turbos out like that, and you need to have quicker interaction than tapping out on turn 4 for something that is an edict. But yeah, wow, good games to Fazzer, and let's see how game 3 looks like. Wow, the 1 land hand with triple Zulav Rights, Sonic Scream, 2 auras, and no Boggles. Yeah, I think if you're If you're Fazzer, you just maul this, like, straight up. Yep, it hits, and wait, it has 2 lands. Okay, that's fine. A Boggle, Interaction, Zul of Rights, um, an Aura that blanks Edicts. Oh, put the Aura that blanks Edicts on bottom, and a Moonweaver. I'm actually surprised. I think in this situation I would have snap bottomed Moonweaver, but I guess the thought is that like Moonweaver also blanks Edicts, because you play Moonweaver into Auckland, and it can get you more value off of your auras that you're getting from Zulip Rights. Meanwhile, Soul doesn't have the coveted redistricting / Farseek into turn 3 Jabaya. Does have a way to like Humble Shepherd turn 2, Jabaya turn 3, and top decking an Anku while also having Throat Cutter. This is exactly what Soul wants here. So gonna play Humble Shepherd, just getting that ramp plus fixing. See, if Fazzer tapped out for Moonweaver, Soul interestingly is playing Sackbull here. I'm not sure why. Like, I guess it grows by exiling these fetches, but I thought you just play I feel like Jabaya is just faster. And his Fazzer tapping out for a Boggle right there. Just gonna swing in for 2 with the Moonweaver in the air. I guess on end, Humble Shepherd, grow Sackbull, and then crack the fetch as well. I guess the thought maybe is to like grow Sackbull big enough that it can block the Forest Grave Guardian profitably. That might be why Soul's doing this. Zul of Rights does get it doesn't get Stirring Pride because this is an enters battlefield tapped land. Also, Firelink Shrine can only be used on enchantments with CMC 2 or less, so can't Stirring Pride. Probably can get like a Sunstrider skill still though. And tapping 4 for Throat Cutter. Fazzer's probably going to have to dumpster the Moonweaver here. This is a really good position for Soul to be in. Has a fast clock with the Sackbull, plus Throat Cutter. In like 2 turns, should be able to Anku, especially given that like next turn Soul can like Jabaya get a land, and then even if this is assuming that in 2 turns Soul can get there by just Jabaya and Farseek, even assuming that Soul just keeps hitting like non-lands. And wow, the top deck of gods right here. Fazzer hitting a Guinevere's Benediction. If you're Fazzer, do you just go Guinevere's Benediction, Zul of Rights, another Guinevere's Benediction, +4/+4? It turns into a 7/7. You can trample over whatever Soul has. It's going to Zul of Rights, yep. I think if you're Zul of Rightsing right now, you're either going for Sunstrider skill or Hanaru's Courage. Hanaru's Courage also works because it blanks another Edict. And yep, Guinevere's Benediction. So now it's total of +3/+3. It becomes a 5/5 with lifelink, trample, hexproof, vigilance. Soul is tapped out, so no worries of like flash creatures, even though Soul doesn't have any of the 75. But just in case. And yeah, Soul not hitting a land, hitting a Sylvan Ritualist instead. I think Sylvan Ritualist into pay 2 Farseek is the right line here because that gives you access to Anku next turn. And yep, we're going on a trip on our favorite magic ship. Spindling Nimbus, getting that red fix so that it can cast Anku, even if assuming these get killed if somehow with like Wander. Fazzer tapping 5, gonna focus the Wasteland Auckland so gets to draw a card. Hits a land off it, which is really not what Fazzer wants to be seeing. Fazzer does have the Wander the Unknown though for the Anku that's gonna be coming down right here. And Auspicial Sphinx is another reason to get Spindling Nimbus because double blue. So Soul is going to be tapping Humble Shepherd's Sheep, +4 lands, hits the Anku. It's going to end. The plan, I guess, is untap with Anku and then slowly start whittling your opponent's board down. Because I guess it edicts, but then Fazzer has 3 creatures. Fazzer also has Ancestral Marking on the Forest Grave into Wander the Unknown. Yeah, 9/9 means that it just barely gets over these three, because Soul Invictus is also probably keeping these creatures up to block, to like triple block and kill the Forest Grave, but now is 1 power off. And normally Soul would be able to grow Sack Bull at instant speed by paying a green, but is tapped out. Or actually, no, can still grow Sack Bull because Sylvan Ritualist allows. Oh yeah, but if Soul taps one of these creatures, won't be able to block with it, so the whole thing will be moot. So, Soul, I think, did Soul just take the 9? No, still resolving the Wander the Unknown. It's going to be tapping Sack Bull to pay for its own cost. And then tapping Throat Cutter, buffing Sack Bull up to a 5/5. Can't block with it now, though, so I think just has to take the 9. Or did Fazzer take back the attack? I'm not certain what happened there. Because Soul didn't change his life total. Fazzer didn't change his life total either. But Fazzer definitely did point the Forest Grave Guardian at Soul, so not sure about what was going on with that. Anyways, Soul gonna be tapping out for a Heart of the Gods. Once more, hoping to just like have enough blockers up such that Fazzer can't do anything about this. Top deck Zool of Rites is insane though. What do you get with this is my question. Like, what is the best aura to get here? Is there something that gives flying? Immortalize does give flying. Yup. And I think that's just enough to get. Oh yeah, because with Guinevere's Benediction plus Ancestral Marking, that's enough to just kill Soul. With 12, isn't it +4, +4, +1, +1? So it's a total of +10. Ooh yeah, so it's 1 damage off. So in response, Soul taps all of his creatures to find Paradise, is able to block the Forest Grave Guardian because Heart of the Gods gets reach when it has Paradise. So can play another Heart of the Gods just to chump block. Also has Auspicial Sphinx to chump block. I think that Soul should tap out for the Auspicial Sphinx right now. There's no reason not to. And it can dig for another threat. And in the case of Fazzer top decking a Wander the Unknown, it keeps you alive. Especially since there's nothing else that Soul can really do with this mana, and he's already discovered Paradise. Yep, tapping all of his creatures for Auspicial Sphinx. Of course, because of Sylvan Ritual ability. Hits a Zulev Rites. Interesting. What does Soul have off of Zulev Rites that can take out a Forest Grave Guardian? I don't think there is anything, right? Ooh, and Fazzer hits yet another Guinevere's Benediction. So Soul basically has 2 turns to try and be able to find something to kill this Forest Grave Guardian. Oh, is double blocking? Oh, I guess because it has Trample as well. So Soul doesn't have 2 turns. Soul has to find an answer this turn, and I don't know that Soul has an answer this turn. Darkbreaker Angel would have been nice when it was smaller. I guess did bring that in. Zool of Rites. Does Zool of Rites find anything here? I don't think so. Like, not even when Fazzer has only 1 Boggle, but I think especially when Fazzer has 2 other creatures. So Soul pays a green, cracks the Sacrificial Bull, gets to draw 3 cards, gain 3 life, hits Redistricting, Vacated Bar, and Jabayan. Again, none of which help right now. I think the only thing that would help Soul is like a wipe here, but Soul doesn't have a wipe. And yeah, Soul just concedes. Oh, what a set. So, good games to both players, but in the end, Fazzer on green-white Bogles takes it 2-1 over Soul on Crest Ramp.